So last week we have seen what is matter, what are the constituents of matter, and how it is classified based on its physical properties. Today we are going to see about the classification of matter based on its chemical composition. So now let's see it. So based on its chemical composition, matter is classified into pure substance and mixture. So pure substance can be further classified into elements and compounds. So what is an element? So an example for an element is a copper. So what is it is? It contains only one kind of atoms. And another classification for pure substance is compound. So example is water. So what is a compound is? It is a molecule, that is a atoms combines together and form a larger one than the larger particle than the atom, that is a molecule. So here in water, your hydrogen atom and oxygen atom combine together and form a water molecule. So if you take a glass of water, you can see only the water molecule. So it is a pure substance. Clear? So next classification what we have seen is mixtures. So mixture is it contains more than one type of element in it. So that will say as mixture. So mixture can be further classified into homogeneous or heterogeneous mixture. So here look at the example for homogeneous mixture. We are given a brass vessel. So in the brass is an alloy. It contains your copper and zinc metal. Okay, it is a alloy, that is a mixture of combination of two metal, copper and zinc. So here two elements, kinds of atoms, copper and zinc, they mixed together such that we cannot separate it easily. Okay, they are uniformly mixed. So when you look at it, it's on its appearance, it is uniform. So that comes under your homogeneous mixture. So next classification is heterogeneous mixture. So example for heterogeneous is water and copper sulfate. Okay, we are taking a glass of water and dissolving a copper sulfate into it. Clear? And or you can add a oil into it. You can imagine that you are taking a glass of water and you are adding oil into it. So what happens? You can clearly see the two layers, two different kinds. You can see the oil is floating on the top of water and you can see the water layer separately. So if we can distinguish the two particles, two types of particles, we can say that as a heterogeneous mixture. Yeah. So broadly, based on its chemical composition, matter is classified into pure substance and mixture. The pure substance can be further classified into elements and compounds, and in the other hand, mixtures can be classified into homogeneous and heterogeneous. So it's an example for your element. So look at this. So here you have only one kind of atom. So look at the atom diagram. For oxygen, you have only one kind of atom. So that is, you will have only oxygen atom in it. So next example is gold. So in pure gold, you have only one kind of, that is a gold atom. So what was given here, that is a oxygen symbol. That is a symbol for gold. And next one, it is a symbol for aluminium, Al. So all those things, it has a only one kind of atom. Look at here in this table column, you have only blue dots. So no other kind. So it is a only one kind of element. So And here for gold, they are given only one kind of atom, so it is an element. Here also only one kind of atoms. Here aluminium, that is also a element. So another pure substance, another classification is compound. So example for compound, look at it, aluminium chloride. So here you have, so in ammonium chloride you have ammonia and chlorine molecule. So that is you have hydrogen, nitrogen and chlorine. So that is you have hydrogen, nitrogen and chlorine atoms. So together they form a molecule ammonium chloride. Okay, so we'll call this as a compound. And in this thing we have only these three atoms. Other than this, atoms won't be there. So it is a pure substance, but it is a compound. So look at your sugar. Sugar also we have three kinds of atom: carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. So we have three kinds of atom. They join together, combine together and form a molecule, that is a sugar molecule, and we have only sugar molecule in it. We don't have any other thing. Okay, so that sugar molecule is a pure substance. Okay, so same way here your table salt, which we are using in our daily life, and your water. So water, so your hydrogen atom, hydrogen and oxygen combine together and form water. So in this bottle you have a molecule H2 and O. You have H and O here together and forms a water molecule. So that is a compound, and you have only that molecule inside the bottle. So it is a pure substance. Next one, mixture. So under mixture you have a homogeneous mixture. So homogeneous means it has a, you cannot distinguish it separately. So it will be uniformly mixed. So that is a homogeneous mixture. You can take an example, coffee, your milkshake, all those things. So if you take a coffee, you cannot separate the sugar, you cannot see the sugar separately, you cannot see the milk separately, you cannot see the water separately, and you cannot see the coffee powder separately. All together everything is mixed and it is uniformly mixed, so it comes under your homogeneous. So if you cannot distinguish the component in a mixture, then that kind of mixture will call as a homogeneous mixture. So next is your heterogeneous mixture. In this kind of mixture you can distinguish all kind of components. For example, salad, your fruit salad or vegetable salad, or your chickpeas, your bel puri, all those things. So you can separate out everything, you can separately see. When you look at it itself, you can see the all the components separately. So those comes under your heterogeneous mixture. Okay, so next one is how can we separate this mixture and how can we get a pure substance. Okay, so for that we have a different separation technique. First, why should we separate this mixture? Why we have to separate? So we have to separate to get a pure component, highly pure substance. Okay, we are separating the mixture to get a pure form of the substance and to remove any harmful impurities present in it. Okay, and to extract a component from the another component. So for example, if you want a petrol, you are taking out from a earth. So from earth only you are taking the petrol. So but when we are taking out the petrol, it won't be in a pure form. So we have to undergo a separation technique to get a pure form. Okay, so why we are doing a separation is to remove harmful impurities, to extract a component from other component and to obtain component in highly pure form. So next, under the separation techniques, uh, we have two types. One is separation of solid and from a liquid mixture. How can you separate a solid liquid mixture? How can we separate solid from a liquid? For that we have a different technique, many techniques. The first one is churning. So what is churning is, so by churning we are separating a dissolved solids from a liquid. So example, butter from buttermilk. So look at this picture. So you might have seen this thing. You might have used this method at our home. So in this what we are doing is, while we are doing churning, we are separating a dissolved butter from the buttermilk. Okay. So next process is your sedimentation. So in sedimentation, so what we are doing is, we are separating a heavy solid from a liquid. So that is, example is separation of mud from muddy water. So here what we are doing is, we are allowing it to settle. So we are not disturbing that container so that it will be settled down. So next process is decantation. So in decantation, so what we are doing is, we are taking out the supernated liquid, which we have obtained from a sedimentation process. So in sedimentation process, we are getting a supernated liquid, and without disturbing the sediment, we are separating the supernated liquid. So example, separation of impurities from water. And next one is your filtration. So filtration, it is a separating insoluble solid from liquid. Example, tea filtration. Daily you might have seen at your home. So next one, separation of solid mixture. How can you separate a solid from a solid? So what are the different one is hand picking, sieving, magnetic separation, winnowing and threshing. So what is hand picking? So when can we do hand picking is, when the solids are in different size. So when the solids are in different size, we can do a hand picking. So example is separation of stones from grains. So next one, sieving. So this, when your mother is making your chapati or puri, you might have seen that your mother is doing this sieving one. That is, your mother is taking a flour and separating the solids from the flour, impurities from the flour, by doing this one. Okay. So this we can do it for a finely powdered solids. Example, separation of brain from flour. So next one, magnetic separation. So this can be done to separate a iron nails or some from something which was mixed with the your substance. So when you take a magnet and keep it there, due to the magnetic field, the iron nails will be attracted towards your magnet and you can separate it easily. Next one, winnowing. So example, your separation of husk from rice. So you might have seen in your villages. So villages where the grains they were crops they were growing, they will take that crops and they will remove the they will beat it. So they will beat it so that they can remove the husk, that is a layer which covers the grain from the they can remove the husk from the grain. So next one is a threshing, and it is used to in the separation of grains from its stalk. So that is when you do the if you after harvesting, if you want to get the grains from a stalk, what they will do is they will take that paddy stem and they will beat it. So while doing that, your grains will be fallen down, and that process will call as a threshing. So look at this picture. So in this picture, this is your winnowing. So what they are doing here, look at it. So under the with the help of air, they are separating the husk and the grain, and this process is your threshing. So this process is your threshing. So what he is doing is he is beating the crop, that is stem. So by beating it, what happens is the grains, they fall down from the stem of from the stalk, and you can separate the stalk and grains by this method. Okay, next one, it's an experiment how you can separate a mud from a muddy water. So to separate this, what are the process involved? So what are the process involved is, first one is a sedimentation. So sedimentation is nothing but you have to allow the liquid to settle. You are allowing the mixture without disturbing it. Okay, so if you keep the mixture without disturbing it, what happens is the heavier impurities, heavier components like your mud, they will be heavier, it will be settling down. Okay, that process will call as a sedimentation. So sedimentation is the settling down of heavier components of a mixture when allowed to remain undisturbed for some times. So after doing the sedimentation, the next what we'll do is we'll do decantation. So as I already mentioned, so this is your sedimentation process. You are not disturbing, you are taking the water in a beaker and you are not disturbing that beaker. And if you do so, what happens is the mud settles at the bottom and the clear liquid will be formed. So this clear liquid will call as a supernatant liquid, and the mud which was settled down will call that as a sediments. And after this sedimentation process, what we'll do is we'll take this beaker slowly and will transfer only the supernatant liquid, okay, without disturbing the sediment. So this process will call as a decantation. This one is a decantation process. So after doing the decantation, what we can do is, so in this decant, so in this water also we'll have impurities. So it won't be pure, it will have impurities. To further purify it, we'll do filtration. So that method is a filtration method. So this method is used to separate insoluble components like sand, mud, etc. from a mixture using a filter paper. So look at this. So the decant, we are allowing it to flow through a filter paper, and this is filtering, and we are getting a pure liquid here. Okay, and this one is your filter paper, the funnel which has a filter paper, and you are getting a pure liquid here. So next one is a food adulteration. So what is a food adulteration? Adulteration means adding a unwanted substance to the food. That is your food adulteration. Okay, the addition of foreign or inferior substance to make the food impure is called a food adulteration. Okay, so what are the food adulterants? For example, in a tea, what they are adding is used tea leaves or processed end. Okay, already used tea leaves they are using. So that is a adulterant. and this will leads to a liver disorders. And in milk they are using a unhygienic water and starch, so this will lead to a stomach disorder. And edible oils, they are using a unedible oils, that will lead to cancer. And turmeric powder, they are using a lead chromate, so that is a yellow pigment. Okay, they are using a yellow pigment, and it also leads to a liver disorder. So food adulteration, to avoid the food adulteration, so what we can do is we can see for the ISI marks or an AGMAR mark on the food products before we buy it. Okay, so it's a question time. I've given you a question. You can go back to the video and check out the answer for it, and you can write it here.